Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of September 2nd. We are going to just jump right in here. You have this Poised card and this Between Worlds card. I love both of these cards. The Poised card, it's like there's this lady, or a fairy, or something, being lifted up on a pedestal. And the Between Worlds card kind of represents going from, black and white to color. It says that you're stepping into like a much more vibrant time in your life. And I'm going to take this card too. It kind of wanted to pop out with the Knight of Swords there. So we'll take it. But again, the Between Worlds card says that you have been in purgatory, or you've been in a little bit of a holding pattern where things haven't been moving forwards or backwards in your life. And it looks to me like now things can start moving forward again, which is great. You have the Seven of Wands, the Magician, and the Knight of Swords with the Three of Swords. I definitely feel that they're, if you want love, you have the Lovers here, and you have great, you've been getting great love readings with me is what I'm trying to say. And not only that, you have Jupiter in your sign. And so, to me, Jupiter in your sign is like very good for love. Now, it doesn't always mean that love is going to enter into your life, having Jupiter in your sign, but it is like one of those things that could potentially bring love into your sign, or into your life, right? And I definitely feel that there could be love here. It looks to me like you're healing from something. Knight of Swords, Three of Swords, and then you have the Lovers, and then you end with the Two of Cups. So the Seven of Wands would say that if you want love, it would be a great time to open up. One thing I will say about the Seven of Wands is that it comes up a lot in all the readings, and I do believe, like, as far as a collective energy is concerned, that the Seven of Wands is really encouraging people to get started on anything that they've been thinking about getting started on, even if they think they aren't ready. Because the Seven of Wands is kind of like a card that he has two different shoes on, or he has like a boot and a shoe on here. And the story is that he had to rush out of his house to protect his position at the top of this hill, but like he had to rush so much that he wasn't ready. And normally with the Knight of Swords showing up in a reading, I would say do not rush. But what I would say is that I kind of get the feeling that if you're thinking about like starting something new, like a new business or a new idea, or if you're thinking about looking for another job or whatever, I feel the Seven of Wands is saying you're never going to be ready. So, and truthfully, the thing that I've learned about life, and it only took 36 years, is that you're never ready for anything, right? So it's like you might as well just get started now. And I feel like the Seven of Wands is kind of encouraging you to just get started on whatever you're thinking about. Even we have the Magician, and the Magician is kind of like saying, like, what are you waiting for, The Magician is my card of needing to get started. In the major arcana, we go from the Fool to the Magician to the High Priestess. And the Magician, to me, even though he comes up after the Fool, because the Fool is card number 0, I still always feel like the Magician needs to get started. It's almost like the Fool started his journey, then we get to the Magician, and he's kind of looking over his tools that he has at his disposal, and he's like, he's got the wand up, he's pointing to the ground. It's like he's trying to manifest something, but he kind of like needs to get moving. And so I feel that with the Magician, that it would be a good time to get moving, especially in love. Like if you have your eye on a person, or if you're thinking about love, definitely could be a Taurus. We have Capricorn so far. Could even be a Leo as well. So, take it how it resonates. I tell people all the time, like, don't focus on sun signs. To me, sun sign compatibility is just complete BS anyway. There's so much more that goes into a person's chart than just their sun sign. So, what I would say here is it could be any sign. Just find a good person, right? You have the Knight of Swords and the Three of Swords. That Three of Swords kind of wanted to pop out with this Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords on the table is rushing back to the past. So with the Three of Swords, I feel this is clearly saying do not rush back to the past in, like a past person, or it doesn't even have to be a past person. It's like, it could just be saying like don't repeat a mistake, or, if something smells fishy with a person, like if they seem like a past person, they probably are. So, you can avoid making the same mistake again. And I kind of feel that that's what that's saying. It's like saying you have healed by learning what to avoid, and so avoid it. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Strength card. Yeah, both cards kind of represent strength, The Seven of Wands, he's able to protect his position. The Strength card is about taming your inner beast. That lion on the Strength card represents your inner voice or your inner critic, and she is taming that lion. It is submitting to her, and so she is the one that's in control of herself. And so I feel like you've taken control of yourself. With the Magician, you have the Ten of Swords, a blessing in disguise. Ten of Swords, there's definitely some sort of ending here, but I don't even feel like you are worried about it at all. I think you want this to be ended, like a past person or whatever. The Ten of Swords, he is making the same symbol that the Hierophant is making on his card right here, and it represents a blessing. And what do you know? We have the Hierophant right here who is blessing like this couple that's showing up right here. So I feel that the Ten of Swords is saying something has definitely come to an end, and maybe it hurt and it could have happened in the past. I'm getting up to 2 years ago. So for some of you, this could be like a 2-year thing that has been going on. Like maybe you broke up with a person, but maybe they were still in your energy field, or maybe it took a long time to process the situation. And it's like now you are receiving blessings. With the Knight of Swords and the Three of Swords, you have the Five of Cups. And here's the thing. The Five of Cups is about disappointments, but the whole point of the Five of Cups is that he no longer enjoys something any longer with the 3 cups here, but he has these 2 cups behind him. And again, if we put this on the table, and if you look at the 2 cups behind you, then we have the Lovers. So I feel like this reading is encouraging you to like move towards a new person. And if you don't want love, again, I feel that you have, this is talking about you having learned a lot of lessons in your life, and you're probably applying those lessons to be more successful. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Barrier card and this Ego card. You have the Two of Cups in the good stuff, right? But the Two of Cups is a card of the ego. We have this lion right here, and the lion on the Two of Cups can actually represent dealing with a person who had an ego or who had ego issues, and so that's what you could have been dealing with in the past. Again, even though it's showing up in the good stuff, I connect all the cards together when I do a reading, so it's definitely possible. This could also say that that you are moving away from a person who had an ego, and you're moving towards something new or different, which is kind of what I feel here. You have the King of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and the Lovers. I really like the King of Pentacles for love because it usually represents a person who's very serious, a person who wants something stable and long term. And what's really funny is that we have divine counterparts right here. We have the Five of Cups here, and if you turn around, you get the 2 cups, and then you have the 2 cups right here, right? In this connection, Lovers, Five of Cups to the Two of Cups, that's funny. Six of Swords, moving on to calmer shores. It's like you're moving on to the Two of Cups. And again, for those of you that don't want love, I would just say that you're moving towards something that you will love, whatever it is. The Two of Cups can just be the connection between you and your higher self, right? And so this could say that you are moving towards yourself. And even the Strength card would say you've done a lot of inner work on yourself, which whenever you do a lot of inner work, then you can connect to your higher self better. And I feel like that's what's going on here. The other thing is that we have the Hierophant, which can definitely represent marriage. But the Hierophant is the connection between the heavens and the earth. So the Hierophant, he can communicate with like both sides, heaven basically and earth. So it can represent manifesting a dream here on earth. So again, even if you don't want love, and even if you do, this can say that you are kind of communicating your vision to the world like he is. He is taking the vision from the heavens, right? And he is training or teaching these 2 people in front of him. So the Hierophant can actually represent expressing a blessing in the world. It's not, sometimes I feel like it can represent receiving a blessing, but it's kind of more of a blessing that you're creating because, again, and definitely in this reading, for sure. We see the Two of Cups, but we kind of see the Two of Cups 3 times because we have the 2 cups here, 2 cups here, 2 of Cups here. So, again, it's kind of like you are the one that is translating a vision that you have and you're expressing it in the world, and that could definitely be a blessing. You have the Lovers, so again, your card, whenever you show up as yourself, this puts you in a position of power and strength. It really allows you to get what you want from the reading. This can also represent you, kind of making a choice in your life, and I feel like you are kind of going off on a new path. But I also feel clearly this could be a love connection. Let's see. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, here's the one thing I will say. Is that the King and Queen of Pentacles, which you have here, can be a little bit boring. So, you could be, this could be a King or Queen of Pentacle connection. The Four of Pentacles is also kind of like a card of convention. The King of Pentacles is the card of convention, so it can represent a person who is like a little bit set in their ways. We see a lot of Taurus energy here, so I don't know if this is a problem yet. We will find out, but I kind of feel that you could be attracting a person who maybe is a little bit stubborn, but again, that doesn't have to be a good thing. It could be, or a bad thing. It could be a good thing, right? The other thing I would say is I do love this for money. So, and also the Queen of Pentacles. So for those of you that are hoping to make more money, definitely looks really good. With the Hierophant, you have the World, literally expressing, it's like you are expressing your blessing in the world. You are translating some sort of vision, you're putting it out into the world. So for those of you that are like creative or working on anything creative, you could be even creating a business, or you could be just learning how to do something that brings light to the world, whatever it is. I think this is going to be like a blessing. But like I said, I feel like for some weird reason, I'm just going to say it, for some reason, I feel like I need to say that it's like you are creating a blessing. It's not like you're receiving a blessing. I don't know if that makes sense, or I don't know if that even, I don't know if it really matters. I think you're going to see it as a blessing no matter what it is. But, it's not like you're just getting something. It's not like a gift. That's not how I see it in my head. It just looks like something you're creating. With the Lovers, you have the Two of Wands. For those of you that want love, I feel that, definitely with the World, you could be attracting someone from a distance. This could also say that this is going to be a connection that pulls you out of your comfort zone. And I kind of do feel that, but not like in a bad way. I think that, it's like maybe you're a homebody and maybe this person drags you out of the house every once in a while, which it would probably be a good idea for you to get a little fresh air, right? So it's like not a bad thing. It's like maybe they just make you do things every once in a while that you don't really want to do. But I think if you go and do those things, you'll have a lot of fun. As a Pisces, my friends, constantly have to beg me to go out, right? Because I just want to stay home. I don't want to go out. But when I do go out, I have a great time, right? So I always don't want to do it, and then I do it, and I have a great time. So, again, I think that, it could just be one of those situations where it's like this person maybe wants to like do a little bit more than you want to do or whatever. You have this Moth Spirit. It says, appreciate where you are in your journey instead of wishing it were easier or different. You have this Dream Catcher card. This is coming up in the area of messages from your future self, by the way. And it says, pay attention to signs, messages, and guidance that come to you at night. Yes, Two of Cups. Again, Two of Cups is the connection between you and your higher self. So I would definitely pay attention to your dreams, your daydreams, the things that you're hearing, any synchronicities you see. I would like document those things as well. You have the Six of Swords, the Five of Cups, and the Judgment card. The Six of Swords is about moving on to calmer shores. The Six of Cups can represent heading towards improvements as well. You have that Between Worlds card. So, the Between Worlds card says that you haven't completed the transition yet. So some of you might still feel like you are in choppy waters, but I feel like you are moving in the right direction. The other thing that I want to say to you, I have like a weird message popping into my head about, it's like I feel like your perspective is wrong about something, and I am not really sure what that is. It's like, I'll give you an example, right? It's like my assistant constantly has to remind me, right, that like doing videos for my other channel is different than doing videos for this channel. It's like sometimes I don't want to work on that. I've been wanting to work on that channel for years now, like to get it going, right? But it's like my brain kind of doesn't want me to do it because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do I have to do all this work. But the difference between that channel and this channel is that the tarot videos don't last long at all, right? It's like tarot, it's like these videos last for they get views for like a week and then it falls off. So I constantly have to create videos for this channel because that's how tarot works, right? It's based off of time. But that channel, it's like I can create a video and it can last for years. But it's like I need to have two different mindsets for the two channels, if that makes sense. And that's popping into my head for some reason with the Six of Swords. I feel like if you are trying to start something, or if you're trying to work on something new, it's kind of like there are two different mindsets that you could have, and you're a Gemini. So I'm sure you could have two different mindsets, no problem, right? And there's probably three of you here watching right now, three of your personalities. But what I would say is that, I think you can you just need to see something different. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. You have the Five of Cups. Definitely need to look on the bright side, right? Five of Cups, I always say fives have very easy solutions in the tarot. In the Five of Cups, you just have to turn around, be grateful for what you do have, and then you get the bridge and the castle. So you always get more than what you lost. There's probably a bunch of cups inside of this castle. It's like, who cares about these three cups right here? So he needs to turn around and see what he does have. And again, I feel for some of you, maybe you've been disappointed in love, for example, and there's clearly a very solid connection coming in for you. to if you want love, but it could be anything. You also have the Judgment card. That didn't work. You have the Judgment card, and the Judgment card is about waking up to your true purpose, definitely making a transition. These people are in these coffins, and the coffin represents their old life, outside the coffin represents their new life, and they are basically being called to step into a new life, between worlds. You're going from one thing to the other. Six of Swords as well. With the Six of Swords, you have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is like conflict or competition. A lot of people have been getting the Five of Wands recently as well, just like the Seven of Wands. And the Five of Wands, it does represent conflict or competition, but I always look at this as a card of needing to look at the competition and needing to see if there's like a way around the competition. It's like sometimes I think people, look at the competition and they think I'll never be able to rise above it. Great example is tarot, right? It's like, I think there will always, right now what tarot needs is something that no one's ever seen before. I don't even know what it is. I've been trying to figure this out for years, right? I think for, the next reader that rises to the top will probably be someone who just like turns tarot on its head and does something completely different, right? And so it's like there are ways around the competition, no matter how much competition there is. You just have to make yourself unique or different. And I kind of feel like that's what that's saying. It's like saying, yeah, you might be doing something where there is going to be competition. It could even be love, right? Like maybe you're attracting a person who's very attractive, or maybe you're attracting a person where there's a lot of competition for the person. But if you can make yourself stand out, or you can make yourself unique, there will be no competition, right? With the Five of Cups, you have the Emperor here. You could be attracting an Emperor, and again, I do like to see this because, again, my one criticism of these two right here is that they need fire. They can be a little bit boring or not spicy enough to kind of maintain the connection, right? So I do like to see that. Could be attracting an Emperor type person. I also feel like the air signs, just in general, are kind of bossing up right now. Like I see that for air, like as we move forward over the next couple of years. So a lot of you could just be, kind of feeling like a boss or bossing up. With the Judgment card, we have the Five of Pentacles. Now we have 555 in this reading. The Five of Pentacles represents feeling left out in the cold, but the Five of Pentacles says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. Make sure to focus on your strengths. But 555, which we have in the middle right here, is a card, is a number of change. 555 can represent like a major change or a major transition. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this ring around the moon. It says protection on it. You have this the falling moon. It says release blocks on it as well. And I kind of get that feeling with that competition card, the Five of Wands, that there could be certain blockages where if you were to release them, then you would probably get something that you really want with the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups can be a perfect match, can definitely be a really solid love relationship, which I do feel for some of you could be coming in. For others, and for all of you, really, this could also be your higher self is trying to guide you towards like a blessing. But I think this is, again, a blessing that you are creating is what the reading is getting at. So whatever you're working on, it's like your higher self is trying to guide you, but the Two of Cups is all about communicating with your higher self by like listening to your dreams, writing down your dreams, meditating, paying attention to signs, symbols, synchronicities, things like that. So I would do all that with the Two of Cups. You have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is a card of resourcefulness. I do feel the Queen of Pentacles is saying that you will have the resources necessary to do whatever you want to do. So if you're worried about money or making money or whatever, I feel like you are perfectly fine. And I also feel that you will have the money that you need. You have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is about seeing things clearly for the first time. She only has clouds halfway up her body, and so she has gained a lot of clarity. And I think one of the blessings that could be coming in for you is clarity. With another five, the last five. With the two of Cups, you have the Five of Swords. Too many fives. This would represent taking the risk on a person. Again, in the area of the good stuff, the Five of Swords would represent taking a risk. And so I feel like you need to take a risk on a person, if you want love, obviously. I also feel this could be a risk to, move towards a sign, symbol, synchronicity. It's like sometimes we start something and the only thing we have is like a synchronicity, or maybe we see like 11:11 on the clock, and that's the only thing that is telling us that we should get to work. And so I would pay attention. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, definitely time to open up. I mean, it's like not a bad reading at all. I think you're heading in a good direction, but you do have the Seven of Wands, you have this card, and you also have this like releasing blocks card, and didn't you have a blockage card here? Or it says barrier on it. So, there could be some like mental blocks or things that you need to overcome, even though it's showing up in the good stuff. And let's see. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Ace of Swords, which is like a victory or the truth. This could be you more living your truth. And again, I do feel air signs are in a time where they are very focused on kind of like living their truth. Meaning if something doesn't resonate with you, you're probably going to resist it more than you normally would. And so I would just, if you don't want to do something, don't do it. And, go do something else. Let's see. You have this convention card. Boom. You can't make this up. I literally said convention on the King of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. So, that energy to me is convention. Those two cards represent that. Convention represents the way things have always been done. And so, again, I would be careful of like a past person coming back who, because I don't think they've changed, number one. But I would also say it's an amazing time to experiment. You have the Nine of Wands, which is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. The problem with the King of Pentacles is that he only does what works. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it becomes a bad thing when the world changes, right? Because, it's like Blockbuster, right? Does anyone remember Blockbuster? Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore. They had the opportunity to buy Netflix and they didn't do it, right? And so Blockbuster doesn't exist because they stayed stuck in convention. They did things the way they used to be done. And so, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing what works, but I encourage people, like my 80-20 rule, right? My 80-20 rule is 80% of the time, I just do what works. 20% of the time, I'm always running experiments on this channel, right? You can all see all the new stuff that I do all the time, right? And it's because like 20% of the time, I'm trying to update, stay fresh, and stay relevant and all that other stuff. And so I feel like this card is saying like, make sure you're staying relevant in life. You have this charity card, another card of blessings. This whole reading is about a blessing that you are creating. So, I think this is just a blessing that you are creating right here. Next, you have this lost card. This card is Saturn and Pisces, and we have Saturn and Pisces right now. There is also like a loss that you are grieving, Gemini, Five of Cups twice. And, but the good news is I feel like you're finally moving past it. So wouldn't even worry about it. You have this influence card. Definitely could be love. I would be careful of external influences. Every single sign, whenever there's like a love reading, which this is kind of like a little bit of a love reading, people always get these cards that say like, be careful of third parties. Be careful. And that does not mean like your ex or their ex. It could, but it could also be like their family, or it could be a friend, or it could be like a random person, right? Like I've heard stories over the years of like people dating a person and then like someone messages them on Instagram and is like, oh, this person's a cheater or this person's a liar or whatever. It's like, do not take information from people who have no clue what's going on in your situation, right? Protect your connection from external influences. You have this negotiation card. I don't really like this card for some reason. I never feel good about this card. It's Jupiter and Libra, which is good, but just like intuitively, sometimes I feel, and sometimes I do feel good about this card, but usually I feel like this card is saying don't negotiate. I feel like it's saying don't settle. So again, I feel like this is saying like don't settle, and you're about to create a blessing, right? But this looks really good. I like where it's going. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.